Greetings and salutations, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Game Break. I am Charles, coming to you today with another episode of Everlasting Summer. A very apt name for a game that does not seem to end. I feel like we've been at this pioneer camp for months, not days. Probably because it's taken months to record this. We still do not have any answers as to why Semyon happens to be at this pioneer camp or what the heck's going on. Is it a time warp, alt dimension, a fugue state? Who knows? I believe we're on to day 6, maybe? 5 or 6. But last time round, we went hunting for some cake ingredients, and then the cake got massacred, and we faffed about for a bit, and I still don't know just what's going on, why some of these characters start going sideways with no explanation or justification or context as to why they're going sideways, but I don't know, it's a new day. I'm hoping we're gonna get some answers today. It would be nice. Alright, we're on day 6. Let's see what happens on day 6. Because theoretically, logistically, day 7 is the end game. So maybe today we'll actually start going towards that. We'll learn some things. Hey, let's find out. I don't know what time it was when Olga woke me up, but even before opening my eyes, I felt the imminence of death. My whole body ached. I felt dizzy. My mind was clouded by haze. Semyon, wake up immediately, or you'll miss breakfast and, more importantly, the lineup. Fucking lineup. Looks like the camp leader intends to exploit me to the fullest today. The same as any other day. I garbled something, covered my head with the blanket and turned to the wall. In the end, Olga's anger will never go beyond words. At least, I really wanted to believe so, then. Stand up right now, or... Or what? I was going to say triumphantly, but kept silent. Not because of fear, just because I felt too lazy to open my mouth. Really, what could she do to me? Lecture me at the lineup, hang my photo on the wall of shame, or use me for inhuman alien experiments? Well, I'm ready for that too. Just let me sleep a couple hours. Okay, but if you miss the lineup... The door slammed behind the camp leader, and the sleep, which had been about to fade, claimed my mind again. Nap time. I woke up, dazzled by sunlight. It was 1 p.m., according to my cell phone, which was squeezing the last drops of charge out of its battery. Dude, that cell phone's a trooper. If it's lasted 6 days without a charge, I can't even leave mine 2 days without charging it. I want that one. That would be awesome. Strangely enough, my body didn't ache. My head felt clearer, all in all. It was a good beginning to the day. Afternoon at that point. After waving my arms, pretending to do early exercises, it's 1 p.m. I sprang out of the cabin and headed to the washstands. Yeah, I slept through breakfast, but We'll be served lunch soon, so I shouldn't worry that I'll have to stay hungry like I did yesterday. The fuck are you? Along the way, I met a pioneer whose face somehow looked strangely familiar. But I was going so fast I couldn't really see him. And when I turned around, he was already gone around the corner. Okay. There was nobody near the washstands. Everyone is probably busy with Olga's tasks and God knows what else. I quickly brushed my teeth, washed my face, and was already going to leave when I suddenly heard the sound of water flowing from the opposite tap. A pioneer leaned against a washstand over there. I couldn't see his face, but judging by his figure, he looked like the one I saw a couple of minutes ago. What's with his eyes? How are you doing? The sun's so bright today. I looked up into the sky, shielding my eyes with my palm. Yeah, nothing special. It wasn't easy to get a better look at the pioneer, given the way he stood. The bright sunlight that reflected from the water and shiny metal surfaces of the washstands heavily obscured his face, and I wasn't able to distinguish any single feature. The camp leader is angry today. So angry. His voice sounded painfully familiar, too. Well, she's always like that. Well, you'd know better, yeah. I tried to remember if I'd ever heard this voice or seen this pioneer before. Well, see ya. He turned the water off and quickly marched towards the forest path. For a second, I thought of following him, stopping him, but I quickly fought it off as I decided that it's not worth spoiling such a great morning with suspicions and burdensome speculations. Okay, dude, it's 1 p.m. Your clock just told you that. It's not the morning anymore. And 2, you are stuck in some weird-ass pioneer camp that you're not sure if it's an alt dimension, if you time traveled, if you're psychotic, if you're who knows what. Anything that is now out of the comparative normality of this place should be investigated. You are a lazy ass. Sorry. Nature was glowing with the bright light of life. Lush green tops were rhythmically swaying in the wind, whispering to each other. The breeze gently stroked the high emerald grass. Birds were cooing in the shade, escaping the midday heat. The woods and fields, stretching beneath the horizon, were dissolving in warm sunlight. I don't know which month it is it now, but it looks like midsummer. I distinctly remember the summer vacations of my childhood and youth, times of fun leisure and carefree joy. Childhood games, how many there were. I wouldn't say no to playing war games or hide and seek now. Or swinging on a bungee. Or maybe building a sandcastle and inhabiting it with toy soldiers, ready to defend their master to the last drop of their plastic blood. What is going on? I went to the square and sat on the bench, waiting for lunch. It looked like there wasn't much time left before it. From time to time, pioneers passed me by, sometimes alone, sometimes in pairs of groups of 3. but always someone I didn't know. Alisa, Ulyana, Lena, or Slavia were nowhere to be seen. Thoughts about the meaninglessness of existence were circling in my brain, but this didn't worry me on such a beautiful day. Just think about it. Who could think of grieving for his life lived in vain or lost early while basking in the rays of such a friendly sun? Certainly not me. I looked upon Genda. He was meditating, as always. Now, he definitely never gets any unnecessary doubts. I remembered my first hours in this camp, and the day before, the anguish, the anxiety, and fear. That all seems so far away now, although so little time has passed. Will I get out of here or not? It didn't concern me as much as before. It should. This is frustrating. Maybe I'm already dead. Then this is the last stop. Please get off the train. What are you thinking about? I looked up and saw that pioneer I'd seen before. I couldn't see his face again as the sun was shining in my eyes. You know, life. It seemed he would sit down next to me, but the pioneer stayed in the same place, only half turned, which completely killed any hope of seeing his face. Listen, have we met earlier? I don't think I remember you. Well, let's say that you know who I am. But I don't. I laughed sincerely. Here, you don't. Okay, you obviously know more than you're letting on, and you're actually being a little more obvious about it than everyone else. You're just being a different type of ass. He answered short. I see. Honestly, it's not like I didn't want to talk, I just didn't know what to talk about. And my soul was so calm, this didn't bother me. Your first time here? What? Okay, you definitely know something. He asked a question, but his tone implied he was only expecting a confirmation. Yes. And you? Me? He paused for a few seconds. Nah, it's not my first time here. One might say that I've visited this camp every year since my early childhood. Such an answer got me interested. Well, and what was it like before? It's always the same. Olga being the camp leader, all the same pioneers around, all the same lineups at the morning, and all these wicked accidents. For a moment I thought that it was me speaking, not him. Interesting. It's just that with every new... He hesitated. Year. More and more interesting things happen, and one gets to understand better what's going on. What are you talking about? This conversation positively triggered my curiosity. It's a pity that I can't distinguish the face of this pioneer at all. Well, every session in the pioneer camp reminds of the previous one, he said calmly. Probably. This is my first. It shows. The pioneer grinned. But it looks like it won't be the last. I don't like that line. That's a disconcerting line considering the context of what's been going on over the past 6 days. Well, it's fun here and all, but you know how they say, there's no place like home, but you still have to get back there. You're creepy. I don't like you. Now, I was absolutely sure that this guy was hiding something from me. Ya think? To be precise, he stood out too much from the camp's usual ordinariness, and was too different from the local inhabitants. What do you mean? You think I'm stuck here forever or something? I said, enunciating every word. The pioneer had no time to answer as the lunch bell sounded. Of course. I turned my head towards the loudspeaker, and by the time I looked back, the guy was already gone. Thousands of theories and speculations instantly appeared in my mind, but I stopped myself, remembering all the apparent normality of this camp. After all, nothing supernatural has happened in these 5 days. You know, yes, technically you are right. Nothing supernatural has happened. There's a lot of weird stuff going on around here, though. That, yes, is technically not supernatural, but not ordinary. Moreover, everything here seemed too natural. Sometimes even boring. Maybe this pioneer didn't mean anything by that, and I just misunderstood him. Thinking that, I went to the canteen, intending to feast. Sometimes it seemed to me that lunch here is akin to the crowds around the soup kitchens during a famine. Pioneers were running around, pushing each other, trying to crawl through for their first meal and take the most comfortable table. I was calmly standing and patiently waiting for the cook to get me my assigned food rations. For lunch today, we had oroksha, which I didn't really like. I sat in a corner and mentally rejoiced that I will be able to eat in peace. That's not going to last forever, I'm sure. My table was the farthest from the kitchen. I could reasonably hope that the pioneers who were looking for a free place wouldn't reach it. Or would reach it last. However, when I moved on to the main course, Slavia, Shurik, and Elektronik appeared from the crowd. Can we? I had nothing against their company. Of course. Lunch was going surprisingly calmly. Even Elektronik wasn't jabbering, as he usually does. I finally finished the meal, sprawled in my chair, and, satisfied, clicked my tongue. Listen, do you know this pioneer? I saw him today. You know, he's so... I suddenly realized that I didn't really know how to describe him. Well, a about my height. Same constitution.
Hard to say from such a description.
Slavia smiled.
Well, we have half a camp of such guys if it comes to that.
All in all, they were right.
Why are you asking?
It's just that I met him today, and it seemed like I haven't seen him here before.
Look in the canteen.
I don't think he'll miss lunch.
Fair point.
Why didn't I think of that? That's it. Okay, guys, enjoy your meal. I got up and started to slowly walk along the rows of tables. Lena and Xenia are sitting over there. I gave them a friendly smile. Alisa and Ulyana are laughing and arguing about something. Olga, surrounded by pioneers. Good thing she didn't notice me. There are hardly any free seats, but the guy from this morning is nowhere to be seen. The situation is getting more and more interesting. Looks like I won't find him here. Maybe he already had lunch. I headed to the exit. It was so hot outside that it seemed like you would instantly melt after coming out of the shade. I suddenly felt like sleeping. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I yawned and headed to the camp leader's cabin in order to follow the domestic interpretation of the Archimedes principle. Don't you frickin' dare. In the end, Olga is unlikely to return anytime soon. At least I think so. And I will definitely have a couple of hours of rest.
You just slept in until 1 p.m. Had food, and now you're tired again?
Anyways, I really don't expect any other options to arise. Especially in this heat. The heavenly coolness in the cabin became my salvation. I took my clothes off and jumped into bed. Crickets were lazily chirping outside, the wind was shaking the curtains on the window, and I sank into a dream. You stink. Knocking on the door woke me up. The knocks were soft, but insistent. I reluctantly got up and went to open it. Strangely, there was nobody on the doorstep. I rubbed my eyes and stepped out to look around. All the same, no one around. A dream, maybe? It was already 4 o'clock, so like a 2 or 3 hour nap, after sleeping in until 1. I felt jaded. I don't think that's what you mean. I probably shouldn't have slept in the afternoon.
You think?
After all, I knew it was going to happen. I knew what was going to happen. I put on my boots, left the cabin, and locked the door. But where shall I go? All in all, there is not much time till dinner. A sudden thought came to me that it would be nice to refresh myself, so I went towards the beach. The sun had passed the midday mark a while ago.
Yeah, before you got up at 1.
It gets dark early here, in the south. I squinted and looked up at the flaming disk.
Who was that just now?
I flinched. The same mysterious guy was standing in front of me. And once again, his face was hard to see due to the bright light. For a moment, the sun blinded me so I could not see anything besides the faint contours of objects. Are you stalking me?
Nope, I was just passing by,
he answered calmly. Then you should know better.
So, you haven't seen anyone?
Correct. Why'd you blink? I rubbed my eyes, but it did not help. Why didn't I see you at lunch? I asked bluntly.
I wasn't hungry.
He laughed. Stop blinking. Oh, for fuck's sake. I blinked a few times and my vision came back, but the pioneer had miraculously disappeared once again. What the hell is going on here? I would like to know. Now I was absolutely sure that there was something strange about that guy. He must be directly related to everything happening around here. It's a bit of a jump to conclusions, but contextually, yeah. Chances are, yeah. I will have to find out. Well, if you stop sleeping. But for starters, it's good to confirm that I am not mistaken, and that he is not just a local pioneer. It was quite crowded at the beach. It looked like everyone from the camp was here. Well, no wonder it's so hot outside. Olga was standing just a bit further apart from everyone, keeping an eye on her army of pioneers. As soon as I thought that coming here might not have been the best idea, she noticed me.
Hey, Semyon! You weren't at the lineup, and in general, you are just lounging around all day.
I didn't know how to answer.
And just how are you planning on becoming a proper pioneer?
She continued more softly. Oh. Olga, in the camp, is there a pioneer who looks a lot like me? She looked surprised.
Maybe? I don't know. Why do you ask?
Oh, I'm just curious.
Well, we have a lot of boys here.
All right, never mind. Someone's yell came from the riverside and Olga rushed in its direction. Well, it looks like I will be spared a lecture. I lowered myself onto the sand and stared at the pioneers playing in the water. After a few minutes of sitting here, Ulyana approached me. And we're going to continue that conversation next time. So now we have a new character throwing things sideways, and no idea what that's all about. But if he looks like us, potentially, and semi-familiar, but we can't fully make it out, logistically, is he a part of our psyche? Are we in a coma? Did our bus crash and this is just a stupid coma dream or some such? If this is a coma dream, I'm going to be a little disappointed, not going to lie. But this... Okay, we didn't really get answers this episode, but we're getting something. We're getting teased as to what could potentially be going on for the rest of this day and tomorrow in the endgame, but we'll have to wait until next time to find out. So thank you all for joining me, and until next time, go be creative, go play some games, go have some fun. Experience some new stories.